On the bench this week, I've got these Blackhawk vintage tool display boards, and I'm going to use these to permanently display the tools here in my shop. But what I don't like are these hangers. They're really loose, and this is probably a 1/4 inch thick, just a hardboard material. So I'm going to be working on trying to back these maybe with some 1/4 or 1/2 inch plywood and figure out the best way to mount these. Right now these are just speed nuts holding them on, so I don't know whether I'm going to thread each of these and put a nut on this side to really pinch it in there tight. Again, this is going to be a permanent display, so I just got to figure it out. So glad you're here. Welcome to the journey. All right, to get these speed nuts off, I just clamped a vice grip on here to hold it still and just use adjustable wrench. I actually gave it not even a 1/4 turn and it came right off. So again, I just want to take one off and see what I'm dealing with here. All right, it's got a flange on here, so reusing and threading this is not going to be an option. I was hoping maybe I could thread this, put a nut on both sides to sandwich it in between the hardboard and a piece of plywood. This is what concerns me. I've got, this one's cracked, and I've got a piece down here that's busted through, so because these are going to be permanent display, I want them to be good and solid. So I may play with grinding that off and threading this. I forgot to start the camera, but I already started tapping, but I ground this down on the belt sander and I'm tapping it with a number 832. Thinking I need to go somewhere between 1 1/4 and 1 1/2 inches. I'm ready to give this a test. So I actually didn't have any number 8 washers. I'm using the number 10. If this works, obviously I'll have to go get a bunch more of it. So first thing it's going to be to do is to put a nut on this end. Put a washer. I'm going to bring it back through the hole. And I've got a piece of 1/2 inch scrap. Washer, and where's my nut? Give me the nut. All right, I think that's going to work okay. This is going to look a little different than it did factory, but man, how sturdy is that compared to this? That moves quite a bit. This moves not at all. All right, so the process is going to be to remove all of the hangers and the speed nuts. I'm going to get this attached to a piece of 1/2 inch plywood. I'll re-drill the holes through here, and I got a lot of grinding and threading to do. This is going to be a long-term project. This is the first hanger that I redid after grinding off or sanding off the little flange. I did this at number 832 thread, and it worked fine. But as I was doing some other ones, I noticed that they just seemed to be thinner. So there was a lot of inconsistencies in the diameter of this, and I was just on the threshold of how thick it needed to be number 8. So I decided to step it down and do a number 6. It's a little bit smaller than I was hoping, but it's going to work out much better just from a threading point of view. I got to get back to this because for all 3 boards, I have about 208 of these I need to do. I got my piece cut to size here. This is the top. I'm going to line it up with the top because I want to be square, because how I'm going to hang these is with a French cleat system. I want to make sure I've got this in this parallel so it doesn't hang crooked. As I continued installing the hangers on board number 1 here, I decided I really didn't like the small washers on the front. Some of the holes were just too large and very weak, so I ordered some number 6 fender washers, and at the same time I ordered nylon locking nuts for the back so I wouldn't have to double nut everything. Here I'm just removing the ones I'd already put on, and I'll replace those with the new hardware and continue on. All right, got the first board done, got 2 more to do. I have about 150 more peg hooks after rework, so it's going to take a while. But I'm really happy with the result. Working on the second Blackhawk board, I've run into just a little bit of an issue. So this is the original peg hook, and you can see how bent it is. And what I'm having to do is grind this flange off and straighten this so that I can thread with the number 6 die up about 1.25 inches. This peg is also slightly larger by about, I think it was 0.012 inches in diameter than what I really need for a number 6, but it was too small for a number 8. So what I did was I went and picked up some just cheap peg hooks, and these turn out to be almost the exact size I need for a number 6. So I'm just cutting some of them off. I just get my wire cutters here, which is not ideal, but I don't have a good pair of bolt cutters. I've got all these pre-marked. And I cut that off. And then I cut some of this upturn off because it's just a little long. I'm putting the finishing touches on this part of the project. So over 3 boards, I think it was 204 or 205 pegs that I had to cut. 2 cuts on each peg, and measure and mark, and then thread, and then install them on these boards. So I'm glad this part of the project's about over with. I will not be missing doing this. One more to go. All right, I got a nice piece of poplar here. I'm going to use a French cleat system to hang the tool boards, and all 3 of them combined are 6 feet. So I'm going to go 6 foot a quarter and just leave me a little bit of gap in between the middle board and the 2 end boards. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is get these bolts out and get my French cleat installed, marked, so I can drill holes through and get some longer bolts and put through here. I'm going to put some blocking down here on the bottom just to make up the difference between here and here. I think it'll hang better. I'll be honest with you, I'm glad this project's over. This was a real pain in the butt, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Because I think I've got a really cool display now. I'm going to start getting my collection up there, and I won't bore you with all that, but I'll come back with the final shot at the end. But anyway, hey, thanks for checking this out and hanging with me. Hope you're enjoying everything you see on my channel. If you are, I'd appreciate a comment or a like, and we'll see you on the next one. Well, but this board is screwdrivers, adjustable wrench, some locking pliers, just different pliers and cutters. Have a lot of holes to fill. But that's part of the fun of collecting, is out for the hunt looking for these items. This board is ratchets and sockets, and there's different vintages here, some older, some newer. As I find them, I'll replace them with better quality or more vintage. And this is the wrench board. I'm okay on some of the standard size wrenches. I only have 1 metric wrench. I'm missing 1 flare nut wrench. But again, that's the thrill of the hunt, out looking for these things.